Council in Gauteng. The party's policy discussion documents were released earlier this month. Analysts say the ANC has a steep hill to climb before it can realise the goals it set for itself at its conference in 2012. Well, with me, Economic Transformation Subcommittee Head Enoch Godongwana. Mr. Godongwana, thanks very much indeed for coming in. I suppose let's just start with what we saw there. We have the steel industry going through this crisis, up to 30,000 jobs on the line. It faces what it calls unfair competition, weak demand, electricity shortages. In many ways, you were involved in this, and the discussion document does speak to what is going on here on a broader scale. What's your take on what we're seeing at the moment?
Yeah, in relation to the steels issue, there's a general agreement that the steel from China, in fact, we need to respond to that. The question that government is, we have had an interaction with all the parties involved from the ANC's perspective, including government. At the moment, government is, to my knowledge, has agreed to respond. The question is, which is the appropriate instrument to utilize, whether it's anti-dumping measures or a straight tariff. Those are the potential options the government may be looking into.
All right. The other thing, it comes at a time when we are seeing the local currency, the rand, hitting 14-year lows against the US dollar. The discussion document of the ANC also speaks or suggests of interventions in this. Just talk to us about where we are at the moment in terms of your document and the currency.
Yeah, let me just say, first and foremost, we need to take a step back at the time of the development of the document. The economic environment has changed substantially since the document was produced. But having said that, clearly there is the exchange rate has got an impact on the competitiveness of the economy. The key question for us is to what extent is that are we making sure that we remain, our competitiveness is not eroded. That's the challenge that's being the focus of the document.
And then, when you look at the document, Mr. Godongwana, one of the arguments that generally come across is the deployment of the appropriate people in position, whether you're talking local government, whether you're talking national key positions. Some suggest that the ANC needs to get that right. And before you answer, I want to take a listen to what the Black Business Council, Sandile Zungu, said last week. If we can just play that clip, and he speaks about positions and the appropriateness. Let's take a listen.
The number one problem for the ANC is that it has failed to master the art of deploying people. You look at mayors, you look at municipal managers, you look at these heads of state-owned enterprises, you look at members of the executive. It's a fundamental problem of not being able to deploy the right people into the right positions. So you may have great policies, but if they're not implemented because the people at the head of implementation agencies are not equipped, then we'll have problems.
What's your take on that?
One of the issues we're raising in the document is the capacity of the state. And it's a critical matter. Without reinforcing and ensuring that the capacity of the state is improved, whatever policy positions we take are not going to be effective. In that regard, the quality of the deployees is critical. So I would agree with Mr. Zungu in that respect.
How do we really fix that deployment?
Clearly, you see, there's a tendency to throw the baby with the bathwater. In other words, there's nothing wrong with deployment per se. In some areas, what is wrong is the implementation, by not only checking the capability and the skill of the individuals concerned. And clearly, that's a matter that's getting attention from the ANC's perspective.
You speak about skill, you speak about quality. I just want to play one more clip from Business Chamber Saki, who says that education needs to be fixed up as soon as possible if we are going to reach some of that developmental goals that you speak of. Let's just take a quick listen to the Saki clip.
We are still on a long path ahead for transformation, but we need to have the basics in place as well to make transformation work. So what we really need to do is to make sure that the education system works and that there are equal opportunities for all the children at school, so that when they come out of school, they know that they've got an opportunity of getting a job. But at the moment, the education system is very, very lacking in providing that basic education that individuals need.
It's a big part of the discussion document, indeed. I've seen it. What's your take on what Saki has just said?
Now, if you look at our expenditure on education as a percent of budget or GDP, we are almost at the same size as any economies of our size. So the issue is what goes in. What we're focusing at the moment is the quality of that education. So we would welcome Saki and anybody else who would say, how do we together work together, government, business and labor, to achieve that quality of skills?
Okay, I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Enoch Godongwana, Economic Transformation Subcommittee Head, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you very much.